Hey, and welcome once again to Ancient Ways for Modern Days. I am Mike Freeman. I'm one of the pastors of Valley Christian Fellowship, and I want to say thanks for joining me today as we continue to walk through 1 Timothy, and we are in chapter 5, and we're looking at some different relationship dynamics that exist within the church and also that exist within families. And today we're going to consider the care of widows, not only in the church, but the care of widows in the family as well. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and jump into our text today. We are in chapter 5, verses 3 through 8. The text reads like this. It says, "Honor widows who are truly widows." Now, what does it mean by truly a widow? Well, it's going to find that. But a widow is someone their husband has passed away. Someone that potentially they don't have means, they can't care for themselves anymore. And so it's talking about honoring and caring for widows who are part of the church family who do not have means to care for themselves any longer. Verse 4 says, "But if a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show godliness to their own household and to make some return to their parents, for this is pleasing in the sight of God." The text teaches that a Christian home should have this kind of desire to honor and to care for parents or grandparents in such a way that a family takes the primary responsibility. In fact, it uses this phrase to make some return to their parents. You know, kids don't often think about this as they're growing up, teenagers and maybe even young adults until you have your own kids, but there's a lot of investment that goes into raising children. You know, parents, they pour their hearts, their soul, their finances, their prayer time. Most parents have had many times of shedding tears over concern for their children or of staying up late trying to figure out how to help and serve their children so their children will grow and mature, especially in the fear of the Lord. And so when a child grows into an adult, what the text says is it's pleasing in the sight of God that those grown children learn how to care for their parents or their grandparents. This is pleasing to the Lord. Our text continues. It says, "She who is truly a widow," and then it explains this, "left all alone, has set her hope on God and continues in supplications and prayers night and day." See, the true widow is the widow she doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have people around her that can care for her. She truly is in the care for the church. And you notice she has devoted herself to the things of God. She is in supplication and prayers night and day. She is a woman of prayer. She is a woman of service. She's a woman who has given herself to the things of the Lord. Verse 6 gives the anti-example here. It says, "But she who is self-indulgent is dead even while she lives." This is talking about a woman she is a widow, and yet the entirety of her life is not aimed at how do I serve the Lord? How do I please Him in my now singleness? But rather it's how do I please myself? How do I get people to do for me what I want to do? How do I make sure that I am in comfort or in luxury, that I am entertained, that I am enjoying life? This widow is not someone who is pouring herself into the ministry, into the church, into the things of God. Rather, she is expecting everyone to care for her. This is called being self-indulgent. It's selfish, and ultimately it's sinful. This is to be avoided by those in their state of being a widow. Maybe this is you. Maybe you're someone who's in this life situation, and this is a great reminder that you might no longer have your husband around, but you know what you do have? You have the church, and you have the Lord. And so to devote yourself to the Lord is the high calling the Lord has placed upon you. And if in fact you have physical need, turn to the church, because the church will care for you. The church should care for you. Verse 7 says, "Command these things as well, so that they may be without reproach. Paul's heart for the widows within Ephesus that Timothy is ministering to, he says, command these things so that they don't get off the right they don't get off the right track, and they find themselves on the wrong track. Care for them. He says, but if anyone does not provide for his relatives. This is saying if there's someone who they have a parent or a grandparent that is in need. And this is if they do not provide for his relatives, and especially for the members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. This teaches us so much. It teaches us that we should take responsibility for our families. This reminds us of the importance of the family, the care that we are to show to the family. The church is not meant to replace the family. The church comes alongside the family, but God instituted the family. He made the family, and he desires to be honored in the family, especially in the way we treat those who are of a life situation where they have special needs. This is our ancient way for our modern day. For those in a life situation that it's the situation of a widow, devote yourself to the Lord and to prayer. To those who have family members who might be in need, meet their need. Look for ways to care for them. And to the church, when it finds that there is a true widow who has needs that her family is not meeting, care for her. Support her. Make sure that she has family, which is the church. And this is the ancient way for our modern day.